Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. It's been a long time, and this is the 2023 summer transfer window. First video, of course, we're going to be diving into each and every rumor that has been around Arsenal. More videos to come your way. Who is signing for Arsenal? Who are we looking at? Which departures are we expecting? Xhaka, Partey, and the midfield rebuild that we could see at Arsenal. We're back in the UEFA Champions League. That means we have the money. That means we have some more money to spend. Of course, having finished in the second place in the Premier League means Arsenal have a guaranteed £159 million, not just to spend, but of course into our bank accounts. UEFA Champions League, of course, qualification means that we have more money as well to spend, and a better way to attract players to the squad. So in this video, I want us to do something very easy: react to each and every rumor that has been around Arsenal and try to give my opinion on everything that is happening, especially in the transfer, in regards to who's coming in and who is going out as well. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Now, let's start off with Granit Xhaka, because it's now confirmed that he has agreed personal terms with Bayer Leverkusen. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Xhaka has agreed personal terms with Bayer Leverkusen. His family apparently wants to be on the move back to Germany, and that's the key factor in Xhaka leaving the club. I think this is a very, very smart move from Arsenal and Xhaka as well. He's had a couple of mixed reactions, a roller coaster of emotions ever since he came in at Arsenal. He was really loved by people like me when he came in from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and then midway the journey, I think things actually turned on him. It became a little bit darker, but then at the end, especially last season, he has been absolutely brilliant. So he's living on a very, very high note, and this is going to give Arsenal a lot to think about, especially in who replaces Granit Xhaka, because although discipline-wise has been a problem, his work ethic, his hard work, his consistency and durability, those are some of the things that I really loved about Xhaka. He plays 38 games in a Premier League campaign, every single campaign. And look, there are few times when he picks up an injury who doesn't play a game for any reason. So Xhaka is going to be leaving the club. That is confirmed. And before he leaves, according to what I've seen, Arsenal want to first bring in a new central midfielder. And we're going to be talking about a couple of names here: Rice, Gundogan, Xavi Simons, James Maddison, and a couple of those. But of course, I want to know in the comment section, if Xhaka is leaving, who would be your preferred replacement for Granit Xhaka? I need to get that in the comment box below. Who would be your preferred replacement for Granit Xhaka? I will be revealing mine. And I think it's very absurd that Arsenal have not looked at anyone from Italy, because I think they're very, very interesting names there. You have Sandro Tonali, who I really love at AC Milan. You have players like, Kopienes at Atalanta. I really love the guy as well. But of course, for me, it has always been Nicolo Barella at Inter Milan. If Xhaka is going to leave Arsenal, I think Nicolo Barella is just the perfect replacement for Granit Xhaka. 26 years of age, proven everywhere in Italy on the big stages of the UEFA Champions League. It's a big question whether they will let him go. That's Inter Milan, because they are very, very good at retaining players that they really want to retain. But I think they will sell a few. They will sell a few players this summer. Maybe Lautaro Martinez, maybe Nicolo Barella. You just never know. If Arsenal could try, now that Alex McAllister has gone to Liverpool, I don't think we will have a lot of competition with Nicolo Barella. So I think Arsenal should be thinking about Nicolo Barella as well, amidst all these names that we are looking to replace Granit Xhaka. Now, of course, in midfield as well, it is also rumored that Thomas Partey could be on his way out of Arsenal. Now, this comes as a bit of a surprise to me, because I think Partey has always been that kind of guy that looks to be at Arsenal for 5, 6 years, 7 years. Maybe there is something going on that I really do not understand, but more and more reports are claiming that Thomas Partey could leave the side. I'll be very surprised if he leaves, but of course, if he does, then my number one replacement then could be and should be Moises CAICEDO. So in terms of departures, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones in terms of players who could leave Arsenal. In terms of incomings, this is where it is quite very interesting. Number one is Declan Rice, the priority for Mikel Arteta. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal will try to sign Declan Rice no matter the odds. Bayern Munich is also in there. I've seen Manchester United as well, rumored to be linked with Declan Rice. I don't think they will sign Declan Rice now that they are 100% locked in talks to sign Mason Mount from Chelsea. So it's going to be between Arsenal and Bayern Munich for Declan Rice. And I tell you what, this one is a very, very interesting one because all the sources indicate that Arsenal want to sign Rice and CAICEDO. That is a combination that I don't want to see start for Arsenal together. I have my personal reasons and we'll be diving into those as we do a couple of videos. But I do like Declan Rice. I like Decas. I like Moises Caicedo. Is such a very, very wonderful player, okay? So Declan Rice is going to cost upwards of £90 million. Arsenal are going to bid their first official offer after the UEFA Conference League final on Wednesday. Bayern Munich have also had contact with Rice. They have Thomas Tuchel has talked to Declan Rice, and we believe the talk was positive. We believe that Bayern Munich are also looking at themselves as posed, well positioned to sign Declan Rice. So he is our priority. Arsenal willing to spend 90 million plus on Declan Rice. Number one, I disagree with this. I think for 90 million, I could get a Gabriel Viega for 40 million euros, and I would also get a Moises Caicedo for 60 million euros. That would be around 100 million euros. So I think splashing 90 million pounds on one player, on Declan Rice, is not something that I would think Arsenal should do, or I think Arsenal should be doing. But I think the idea behind this is to go with a statement signing, Arsenal have always wanted that big major signing. In January, we tried to sign Mikhailo Modric for upwards of 80 million euros, but the deal didn't actually happen. Now, in the summer, Declan Rice is going to cost upwards of 85 million pounds. My thoughts on Decas have been very, very clear. He's not world class, but he's a very, very good player. He can become world class. Arsenal definitely make him better, and he makes Arsenal better. Does he make us fit for the UEFA Champions League? I think he does. He's a very physical player. He's very fast. He's very strong, intelligent as well. And only 24 years, his value is actually going to keep on going upwards by the day and each and every single season. Look, playing at the biggest level, playing at the most top level means that you must have the top talents. You must have the best players. And Decas in midfield with Martin Odegaard and Thomas Partey, that massively, massively improves us. That massively takes our midfield to the next level. But I still think with 90 million, Arsenal can do much more. Now, of course, the departure of Thomas Partey means that Moises Caicedo is a priority. Now that Chelsea have missed out on Manuel Ugarte from Sporting Lisbon, PSG have signed him for upwards of 69 million euros. It looks like Chelsea will be turning their attention to Moises Caicedo. Arsenal have been in talks with Moises Caicedo since January. We almost signed him, but Brighton did pull off a masterclass there in January. They told the player, stay with us, we will give you more money until the end of the season, and there is a guarantee that you will leave at the end of the season. That was a masterclass, a pure masterclass by Brighton. And now the summer is here. Arsenal are really looking at Moises Caicedo. Chelsea are also really looking at Moises Caicedo, with Mauricio Pochettino saying his first signing should be a defensive midfielder. Now, I've seen Thomas Partey as a key player for Arsenal, and I've also seen Thomas Partey drop off in form last campaign. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't win the Premier League, maybe among others, but one of them was Thomas Partey dropping off. Thomas Partey massively losing his form, losing his ability in midfield. And that is one of the reasons why Arsenal didn't win the Premier League. Of course, there's so many other reasons we can talk about, the mental, the psych, and the Saliba injury. But I think Arsenal do need a backup for Thomas Partey, a serious one, right? If Thomas Partey had dropped off and we had signed Moises Caicedo in January, it could have been a very different chapter. Moises Caicedo this season has been absolutely very, very good, flying for Brighton, named player of the season for me, most improved player for Brighton, despite the fact that last season he was also very good towards the end of the season, but he's been their most improved player. This has been his breakout season, and I think any team that tries to sign him actually know what they are doing. Now Brighton are asking for upwards of 100 million euros. This is gonna be very ridiculous because they will have a bidding war and it's gonna work in their favor. Chelsea are gonna come in apparently with around 70-80 million pounds, and Arsenal will also come in with around 70-75 million pounds, and whoever wins the war, that's where Moises Caicedo will go. That's what I understand. Chelsea will have a big advantage here because, one, Brighton want to sign Levi Colwill, who has been really good for them on loan from Chelsea last season. So if they can just get a 30 million off the deal, and maybe Chelsea can pay 50 million euros or 60 million euros plus Colwill, that could be something that could benefit them as Chelsea. Arsenal on the other side, we do want the player, and the player wants us. He wants UEFA Champions League football, and Chelsea apparently are not willing to overspend this summer. That is the reason as why they didn't match PSG's, spending power, step by step. Chelsea offered 60 million euros to be paid in installments. PSG offered 70 million euros and Chelsea backed out of the Manuel Ugarte deal, right? So if Arsenal can make this deal go wild, like 80 million euros, Chelsea will be looking at this and go, well, if we didn't pay 60 or 70 for Manuel Ugarte, we won't be paying 80 for Moises Caicedo. Of course, what I understand here is that they'll be looking at other cheaper options. Edson Alvarez, who is poised to go to Borussia Dortmund, if they could hijack that. Ruben Neves at Wolverhampton Wanderers, they could hijack that as well, right? So, in my opinion, Moises Caicedo is the easiest signing to do for Arsenal than Declan Rice. Now, of course, according to The Athletic, David Ornstein, he's quoted and he said that Arsenal are also interested in signing Ike Gundogan as a replacement for Granit Xhaka. Gundogan is 32 years of age. He's been one of the best central midfielders in the world for the last decade. And I've always liked Ike Gundogan. Arsene Wenger always liked Ike Gundogan, and I thought at some point in time we would sign him, right? The problem was always injuries at Borussia Dortmund. But ever since he signed for Manchester City, I think his game has become much better. He's become injury-free as well, and he's become a much, much better player. But at 32, I think he's looking at a contract worth 2 more years. Manchester City are offering 1 year plus an option to extend. He would want 2 years, probably with an option to extend. He's worked with Mikel Arteta, so he understands Mikel, and Mikel understands him as well. This one's going to be very interesting because Barca also in there, right? So I will really keep you posted about Ike Gundogan. I love him, but at 32 years of age, I would only take him if we signed him plus a younger player, and that young player could be Gabriel Viega as well, another player that has been linked with Arsenal at Celta Vigo. Now, he scored a brace in their last game in La Liga to beat Barcelona 2-1, just to make sure that Celta Vigo survive relegation. That is how important he has been for Celta Vigo. But this season, 14 goals, 2 assists as well for them. He's been actually 11 goals and 4 assists for them, for Celta Vigo. Now, a central midfielder who scores 11 goals for a side that is looking at relegation and assisting 4 times, those are 15 goal contributions for a relegation threatened side. We might be looking at a potential James Maddison here, right? Because these are James Maddison numbers. Maddison last campaign averaging 19 goal contributions, scoring 10 and assisting 9 for Leicester City, despite the fact that they were relegated. Okay, so Gabriel Viega, Spanish international, he should be one to watch this summer. Fabrizio says he's going to be moving in this summer, so Arsenal and a couple of other clubs. I presume Manchester United, if they don't get Mason Mount deal done over the line, they could actually look at Gabriel Viega, but he's one to watch. Newcastle are also in there. Now, we are also looking at right backs, and that includes Ivan Fresneda and Such a Boy at Galatasaray. Ivan Fresneda is a player we've been looking at since January, and I thought maybe we would have signed him, or we could have signed him. But it looks like Borussia Dortmund are also in there. They're throwing punches. They're trying to mislead the player. They're trying to throw him off the Arsenal grid, okay? Both clubs do have UEFA Champions League. They're willing to pay over 25 million euros for Ivan Fresneda. It's going to be purely on the player's willingness to join, okay? If he wants to join Arsenal, then he will join Arsenal. If he wants to join Borussia Dortmund, then he will join Borussia Dortmund. But in my opinion, if I were the player, I would definitely go Dortmund, because Dortmund is that kind of club that gives you the massive opportunity, right? But the project at Arsenal right now is beautiful, absolutely magnificent. Such a Boy is another player that Arsenal have been linked with closely in the last 48, 72 hours. Galatasaray want him. There is no question about that. They do want to keep him, but they will be able to let him go for 25 million euros. Arsenal, apparently, it was reported that we offered 17 million euros initially, and that was turned down. So we're looking at a right back. I'll be very, very glad if we did sign one, and then that would allow us play Ben White as a centre back, as a backup for William Saliba. It would allow us play a back three, as well, and rotate a couple of times. Okay, Mason Mount has also been linked with Arsenal. Of course, we've talked about Mason Mount. He's he prefers Manchester United, so there's nothing much to talk about here. Many people actually hold him in high regard. I actually do not. I think he's one of those players that I just don't hold in high regard, okay? James Maddison linked with Arsenal, 40 million pounds. This is the time to get this deal done. If you have James Maddison and you have Odegaard, that is the climax of football. James Maddison would be your everyday Kevin De Bruyne creativity. He's going to be having those huge numbers in terms of scoring goals and assisting as well. Odegaard, despite the fact that he's had 20 goal contributions this campaign, I don't see him as a player that is going to have those many goals every single campaign. I think he's got the ability to score 10 every single campaign and the ability to assist 10 times. Those are around 20 goal contributions. But with James Maddison, we could be looking at a potential talent that would be looking at exploding, right? I think he's one player that is so good at free kicks. He's one player that is so good at set pieces. He's one player that is very lively. And the fact that he's averaging these very beautiful numbers for Leicester City across a period of like 3, 4, 5, 6 years, I think he deserves a big move, and Arsenal should be looking at him. And finally, Xavi Simons at PSV, a player that of course tormented Arsenal in the UEFA Europa League group stages. He's just won the Golden Boot in the French, in the Dutch Eredivisie. I think he's got around 17 goals from midfield, all right? Very versatile, can play attacking midfield, can play right wing, left wing, and also play as a false nine. Xavi Simons is a player that is, very young in his career, and is actually, traveling through these big clubs: Barcelona, PSG, PSV, and now it could be Arsenal. I do like Xavi Simons, I really, really do. But when I look at Xavi Simons, it just reminds me of Fabio Vieira. We have such a player, and I know there's so many opinions about Fabio Vieira. I will do a dedicated video to Fabio Vieira and what I think he should do to prevail and progress in the Premier League, to become players like Bernardo Silva. Not very strong, not very tall, but highly effective, all right? But for now, that is all we have, and that is that's what Arsenal are going to be dealing with in this summer. Lots of names, lots of links. Who should Arsenal sign? Let me know in the comment box below. And the summer has just started on Cossy's Arsenal podcast. Much more to come.